is everybody tonight? Metal will be here shortly, but right now I have the diabolical Dillard with me. Okay, the daring diabolical Dillard? I don't know. Let's see. Studio. Yeah. I'd sing it with you, but although technically I think it's been put back in public domain, but they wouldn't hear me, so maybe that would satisfy Evan. Oh, and I should share this out too. That might be a smart thing to do. So I guess you're coloring up the buckler page tonight? Me too. Oh, that's good. So Timothy's gonna, when he does his next campaign, is gonna be having, well, I think he called it a sketch card, but I think it's gonna be like, trading card or whatever you want to call it. And he asked me to color it, so. Oh, he's doing some cards he didn't say. So, cool. Well, yeah, I'm going to be coloring the flame. As soon as I put this one last link out for people. Okay. Here's what I was doing this morning. Still got to do a little bit more on it. What do you think? Oh, this is what I was coloring the Canadian Shield. Yeah, I accidentally put the smoke coming out of the panels and I liked it, so I did it in a few more spots, So it's almost coming out of the doors as he comes in. Oh, the whole thing or just a particular panel? Well, the smoke coming, from inside the building here, as he opens the door, comes up. No, I was saying I was going to leave that coming out. I thought it made a nice little effect. Yeah. 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 Well, it got the wrong panel there. It's panel 3. I'm not sure. I think it is. Um, but check it. See, there's what it looked like before the smoke. Okay. And there's what it looked like after the smoke. I would put it up a few layers. Tell me what you think when it comes through. Not much. We're just talking about how to get the smoke coming here out of the top part of the door. Like, do you mean right here, or? Okay, give me a sec. Now let me. Yeah. Oh, they can barely hear you. That's because I had music on earlier. Well, I can put some highlights of the yellow on. That's probably no problem.
But do you see what I'm talking about with the shape of the smoke?
Yeah. But you're talking around the door, I think, more. So, let's see.
Kind of like that. Just like this. Like that.
Yeah, you from in behind the door. You're talking a little bit.
From coming out of the building, yeah.
Yeah. Yes. See whether I can do something quick. Hey, Metal.
Hey, how you doing?
Good. Okay.
So what is this, just page coloring night?
Yeah, well, I'm just gonna try and quickly do something John was saying about doing here.
What are you up to, Metal?
Eating steak.
Eating steak? Oh my god, this guy's a beast. Are you eating steak, Rick, or are you beta male?
I'm not eating anything at the moment.
Rick has control over his hunger, unlike Metal, who needs to satiate himself all the time.
Oh yeah.
Well, I ate before coming on stream.
Rick's the master of his own domain.
This is a big steak too. It's like the size of a baseball mitt.
Oh my god! So what's up, Rick? Are we gonna do karaoke night or no?
That was not me saying that. I never agreed to this.
Oh, so you just want to be a lame?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. Jesus.
You know, John, what we should do is we should just figure out which professional singers we each sound like and just start singing copyrighted music close enough that it gets the claim.
Well, I don't even know who I sound like.
I'll have to play around with it a bit.
Well, how is this high noon, but it's late at night? So page 22 should be finished this week, Rick. I wish. I gotta get it off the guy that's doing it before I can color it.
Yes, Rick, it does indeed say high noon.
Oh.
I think that's what he was pointing out.
How unprofessional is Rick's stream? My god. I thought I was on After Dark. I could have dropped an F-bomb there. Ruined the whole thing.
Oh. There, it's now Cross Comics After Dark. Oh, he meant his comic. Oh, that's good. How many pages of it, Tim?
Oh, of whole?
Yeah, of Timothy.
Yeah, that's a good question. How many pages is it, Tim? 26. Nice.
26 page. How much does it cost to get a 26-page book printed out?
More than a 22-page book?
I don't even know if I can believe that. That was such an uncertain answer.
I don't know.
Rick, I'm asking you.
Yeah, well, depends on how many copies you're making.
Let's say enough to cover 30 backers. Make 35 copies.
Oh, you're probably only looking at, I don't know, 3, maybe 400, I'd say, if that.
$400.
Oh, no, it's gotta be less than that.
Yeah, I know. That's why I acted so shocked right now when you said that.
And it's all black and white inside, too. So.
Yeah, the color is usually what makes it cost so much. You can print black and white real cheap.
So let's see.
Because Timothy was over there on Wise Guys Entertainment, that show that I was on last week.
Yeah.
And he was not sure whether he wanted to do a fixed goal or a flexible goal.
Canadian money sucks. Let's see. Okay, well, he said it's 26, but he'd have to do 28 because they don't print. They print by force.
Right.
Grace cover.
Well, that size, yeah. If you go above 40, then you can hardbound, and then it doesn't matter what your print count is.
Yeah. Well, this is saying $70 for 35 copies with a black and white inside for 28 pages.
All right, now that's $70, right?
And color cover.
Right.
And
Okay,
that's
so
not including shit.
Let me get my calculator out here if I can get a sentence all the way out of my mouth. Let's see here. Calculator. All right, so we got calculator. Let's round it up to $80, right? And let's say with tax and everything, it's $100. It's $100. $100 to get those things made. Now to get them shipped to you, I would say let's make it $120.
Well, here, I'm not sure whether that includes everything. Actually, I think that pretty much included everything when I'm thinking about it. I'm trying to.
Yeah, what I'm doing here is it's called being conservative with money figures.
Yeah.
Leaving a nice buffer area.
Yeah, the buffer area for expenses wherever they may show up. So let's say $120 will get you those books in your hand.
Yeah.
35 books. And let's say you got 35 backers and your book is how much? 25 books or less?
Well, I'm not sure. We'll say 20.
Hello, hold on, Rick. Hello, Rosie. Okay, be right in. All right, sorry about that. Okay, so where were we at? How much did the book cost?
Well, we're saying 125 just to get it print it, and into your hands for 35 copies. And we're wondering how much he is charging per book.
Correct.
If he's not charging shipping on it, with it.
We'll figure that out.
Well,
we just need to know what his actual costs are and whether that's shipping included or not. That's it.
Yeah. No,
what's the cost of your 26-page book?
Well, you said 125, so that'd be about, I'd say it, not including.
No, he's not charging the backers 125 per book. I'm asking how much he's charging the backers per book.
Oh, okay. I would say no more than 15, maybe.
I'm asking
10.
what Timothy's charging, though.
Yeah.
The way for him to actually 10.
Yeah.
What is he charging? 10?
Yeah,
That's
10.
what it says. At 10.
Oh Lord, why? Okay, so I'm assuming that's not including shipping.
Yeah.
Okay, so we got let's say shipping is going to be they're going to pay for shipping essentially. Whatever the shipping is, because you round it out to it comes out to about maybe $10 or $11 per book to get it shipped. That's the cost of materials and the cost of shipping.
Yeah.
To get it shipped. So let's say $11. That's $11 per book. So that cost isn't actually coming from you. That's coming from the backers.
Yeah, but it's included in what you have to spend your money on.
Well, no, duh. But it's okay, so we got 35 books. Let's say you got 30 backers. So let's say, for instance, this costs $10. So they're going to be paying you $300. That's going to be money that's going towards you. $300 is going towards you. That means this $120 that you're paying for the books gets deducted from the $300. But the extra money that's also going to be coming into your campaign from your 30 backers, which is going to be $333 in shipping? If it's $11?
Yeah.
I don't know. What's 30? Let me see what 30 times 11 is.
That would be 300. Yeah, it might cost about that for sure. With all the shipping stuff.
Times 11 equals. Whoops! I made a mistake. Yeah, it's $330. So not $333. I'm being stupid. Okay, so $330. That's the cost to ship, but that money's not coming out of your profits. That money's just coming out of they're paying for their own shipping, essentially.
Yeah.
You do the work of going and getting the stuff and packaging it and sending it out. And it's going to run you about $330 to send all those books out. You might even save a little bit here and there. But so $330. So which means if you got your backers, which means you get $300 because you sold 30. You get them printed for $120. It comes from the backers. You ship all that stuff out, just the basic books, and you got yourself a nice little profit of $180. That's for only 30 backers. Now total, let's say you don't, but you say, I'm going to fulfill no matter what. It's a what do you call it? Flexible goal, right?
Yeah.
And let's say you get bare minimum number of backers. What did you get last time when it came to backers? How many backers did you get? The last time when you weren't ready and you went through anyway. Timothy says the shipping is probably going to be 16 or 18. You're doing it wrong. I don't know what you're doing.
Yeah.
No, I think he says with shipping, it's probably going to be 16 or 18.
Oh no, you're going to charge for shipping.
Yeah. I would probably charge $5 for the U.S. Then maybe about 8 or 9 for Canada.
No, Rick, that's not what it costs to ship.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
You still need to buy shipping materials. You can't charge somebody $5 for shipping in the U.S. just because the number on the package says $5. You had to pay for that package.
Yeah.
You have to pay for the dunnage to make sure the book don't get damaged.
All kinds of people undervalue shipping in these campaigns. And
that's why all these people never fulfill, because they don't have the money.
Yeah.
So 33 back. So there you go. So if you did a flexible goal, you could have fulfilled easily. But you have to charge for shipping materials.
Yeah.
You got to charge that people. That stuff. Yeah. That stuff. The money doesn't come out of nowhere.
True.
You charge for your book $10. If you want to charge $10, charge $10. But you have to charge for shipping materials because you have to get it to them.
Yeah. Yeah, you just got to find a good place.
That's it.
Get envelopes. You got to decide what type of envelopes you want. Like I chose bubble mailers. I know the guy that did Tribulation Task Force, he did rigid mailers, and mine got to be good and all that and that.
Yeah. Because the thing is, it may charge you $5 to ship anywhere in the U.S. if you're in the U.S. or whatever. I think it's like $5.60 something, whatever, to charge. Like I think to go from like California to Georgia or New York, I ship some stuff. It's like $5, $6. But you have to pay. You break it down. You buy a pack of 30 envelopes.
Yeah.
And that pack of 30 envelopes is going to cost you, $32, which means $1 per book. Then you got to buy something to back the stuff up with so it doesn't get damaged. And then whatever.
Or you're going to buy the bags.
Board.
Yeah.
I was just going to say that. If you want to buy bags and boards and have your comic look presentable, yes, it suggested $6 for shipping. No, absolutely not. It costs $6 to ship. That does not mean it costs you $6 per shipment.
Yeah.
Each shipment is going to cost you about $10 to $11.
Yeah.
So charge the people that.
And that is just for one single comic. Now, if you start adding more, depending on what you add into it, your shipping costs go up.
Yeah, like this dude, they got Rick's campaign, the one that got the double page spread in a frame. Like I essentially gave him that drawing, right? But that thing, not to take away the value of the drawing, the thing cost me in total, not just because to ship it was $45, but in total the thing cost me $70. Because I had to buy a huge box, I had to buy a ton of dunnage, you know what I mean? And then I had to make sure that I wrapped all this stuff. I had to buy some tape, to make sure to tape the dunnage to the frame itself. Then, get all this crap in there, seal it up, and ship it out. It cost me like $70.
Yeah.
Shipping isn't free. Shipping ain't cheap either. People know that.
Yeah.
You're backing the book for $10. That's fine, but shipping costs money, so you got to charge them the shipping.
Well, a good way to stay conservative with your pricing is to look at each individual order, price everything for that, because you will save money by getting things in bulk for everything.
Mhm.
So then you're safe if you can get everything done one by one.
Right. Because the thing is, these bigger campaigns, they get those price breaks because they're ordering so many.
Yeah.
You're not going to have that. Well,
might get
unless
lucky.
you might get lucky and you
But
may.
you should plan that you don't.
Right.
Yeah.
You're not going to have those price breaks when you order, over 2,000 shipping envelopes.
Yeah.
You're not going to get that. Which is why the more money you make, the better it is for your overall campaign. Not just because you're making more money, but those price breaks come into effect.
Yeah.
You got to make sure that you can get your stuff out. Now, if you had a flexible goal last time, you could have got your stuff fulfilled. But you should have charged at least $10 at least for shipping.
Yeah.
Or else you're going to end up eating your profits. You don't want to eat your profits. And again, doing a campaign and giving 30 books to 30 people, $180 isn't that much of a profit. Nobody's going to fault you for saying, "Oh, you made $180, woo, whatever." No, dude, that's not something people are going to get upset about.
Yeah. Yeah, you just got to find a good place to get your envelopes or whatever. Like, there's a place here in Hamilton called Whiteberg. I can just go pick up my envelopes. When I got my envelopes for shipping out for the comic size, basically, I got 100 of them for like under $50.
Mm-hmm. But again, whatever your costs are, those are your costs. If you can't find a good place, and you know what, you need to charge $14 for shipping, then that's what you charge. You don't eat the costs.
Yeah.
Yeah, because as long as you're honest with people and they know what the costs are, then they're still going to back with that in mind, or else they just weren't going to back at all.
Yeah, you say, you know what, dude, I'm sorry, but this is the absolute cheapest that I can send it to you. I don't have a place where I can go pick up 100 envelopes for $50. I had to pay $1.10 for each envelope. This is the cost of shipping. That's the best that I can do.
Yeah.
That's all that people can ask for is your best.
Well, I would definitely put a digital version on there too, then, for sure.
No, never. People will not back your book if you're offering digital.
They backed mine, and a lot of people got my digital.
Yeah, you could have had a lot more sales if you didn't sell digital.
It's hard to say. I would have got a few.
If you didn't give them the option to cheap out on you. Matter of fact, Jiminy Cricket was telling me, "Yeah, I got Rick's digital. I mean, because it was there. If I would have had to buy physical, I guess I would have bought it. But so I got them."
Well, I know I got into some international sales for it. Like Hillel, he got the digital because he didn't want to pay for shipping and all that internationally. So.
All right, I gotta go. Bye.
We got two different people here, right?
What was that?
That because of the price. Because of the price point, they won't buy at all if the digital's not there. And there's some people that they're going to buy anyway, but then you lost a higher sell because digital was there.
And there's also some people in this community, this toxic community, Rick, that hate digital with such a fervor that if you offer it, they're not going to back your campaign.
Yeah.
But I got to go sing happy birthday. Goodbye.
Okay.
All right, catch you later. Yeah, shipping does cost a lot right now.
Yeah. Well, we were sort of asked. That's why I was giving, me and Dillard were both going based on, information that we have, from doing stuff like that. And metal, too,
Well, at least looking from the chat that Timothy is valuing this information. And that's the most important thing.
Yeah. Okay, so I am actually supposed to be covering this. Timothy says everyone has different ideas of what cost of shipping is, so it makes it confusing.
Well, especially because you're small, too, like business-wise, people are going to understand certain costs and stuff because it costs people who are basically starting out more than it costs established people. And like John said, it doesn't matter if your profit's only 180. They just care, A, you made a profit, which means that you have some business sense. B, you actually fulfilled your promise, which is the most important part. And C, you got something out there. You're basically just building up a small business.
Yeah.
You want to build a business.
You're not being ignored, Mallet. I answered your question about am I doing a voice thing. And no, I'm not exposing myself again. Well, I guess it depends on what you mean by exposing.
Can you save by buying shipping material before you launch? If you're willing to take it out of your own pocket, but then you got to count that that's basically negative money towards the profits of your campaign, right? You're still going to have to take that off to see how much this campaign costed you. And who knows, if you're saving, you might over purchase by too much. It's better to know what your actual costs are going to be before you go out and do something like that.
Yeah.
No, he says he missed the reply.
Oh. Yeah, well, you save, but you don't save. You know, you've still spent that money technically. So.
It's in the hole now. Yeah.
Whether you can afford to go and buy the envelopes beforehand, you know, maybe a little bit in bulk. That way, you know, you might have them for a second campaign, whatever.
Rick, stop exposing yourself. It's gross. But you can't look at it as saving money. That way, it's still an expense. It's a business expense.
Yeah. That's what I'm trying to say. Whether you buy it before or after, you've still put out that money towards thing. It means when you run the campaign, technically, you get that money back, but you got to spend it no matter what.
Basically, any money you spend up front before you get your money is the equivalent of a business loan you're giving to yourself. No, I mean, he says it seems like it's a situation right there. I wouldn't say that at all. It's just the best way to look at it is you can buy it ahead of time. It's just not saving money. It's better to know what your costs are so you don't overpurchase. You could accidentally just end up buying the grouping that you need, because you're probably not going to end up buying exactly 33 shipping containers, because it would probably be cheaper to buy 50 than it would be 33 of whatever you're shipping with.
Yeah.
Or just like whatever the package size is, right? So if you buy 50 and you think you're only going to need 50, then you might have just purchased the right thing, but it's still going to cost towards the money. Losing situation there. You can't look at it that way. It's just something that needs to be done.
Yeah.
Yeah, he spent a lot of stuff up front on CNC. It was a risk. And he couldn't go out and crowdfund a product. Yeah. But that's just it's a risk for a business expense. And you're just hoping it comes back.
Yeah.
That's just how starting a business is. Obviously, Mallet knows. But you have to look at this as starting a small business. It's not just a fun little project. You are in small business structure right now.
Yeah.
Oh, it's about even now. That's good. Cool. Glad to hear that.
Yeah. See, it's a machine. You watch Mallet's channel. He does a lot of woodworking stuff with it. Or wood sculpting, for lack of a better way of saying it.
Actually ahead. Even better. Being even's great. Being in the red's bad. I'd love to see people in the black and green. depending on what you're using as terminology.
Oh, yeah, that's good being ahead. He knows he can get Gemini mailers. You can get 100 a pack of 150. Yeah. Well, the question is, how much does that cost, and is it? Do you think you can get something that's just as good, a little cheaper,
Oh yeah,
and maybe not
now
as many?
it's Christmas season. You're going to get a lot of orders for that. But so to talk about the 150, right? You have to weigh things. If you think you're going to be selling more comics in the future, invest your own money up front right now for the 150. It might be worth it because you might think you'll use them all. But if you don't know you're going to use all of them, that's probably not a smart investment. You know? Ways that you could still securely send less products, or you could probably find non-Gemini brand mailers, because I know Dillard's got a connection where he gets them slightly cheaper and they're just as good, in smaller packages, so you're not wasting money. Avenues to look into.
Yeah.
Ooh, and another cribbage board.
Oh, that's good.
Is this one easier than the last one? Yeah, but basically when it comes to a business, you have to look at everything as risk assessment, and part of risk assessment is return on investment.
Yeah.
And to make a business thrive, you do have to take risks. Smart risks. If you can. Oh, same one he wants for the cousin. Oh, that's great. If it's the same thing, then you just, use what you already had done and just make profit off your time. He says that goes without saying. You'd think it goes without saying. You would think.
Yeah.
But there are people out there.
Yeah. There's some people that are not the smartest out there. Yep. Says Mallet. I would metal. Not sure what that's to exactly. Something to what you said.
He's repeating himself the way he said it because of the way I said it. Rick, what is this color palette?
There's. I guess these would be flats. I'm just grabbing them from something I've done before.
No, I'm just wondering why your character has like this Iron Fist color palette, and then all of a sudden this really contrasting like flame biker color palette as well.
I guess what I was thinking at the time was, flames have, red, yellow, and orange in them, or those are the prominent colors that most everybody sees.
Mm-hmm.
So I was trying to incorporate them all in.
What Mallet said. He's like, I think the artist field has a lot of people who function with one side of the brain, side of business thinking, if he's right. Yes, mathematical computation and creative thought like that, like inspiring, tend to be in opposite hemispheres from what we understand about the brain. And he says, I'm not sure what side of the brain Rick uses.
Neither am I. Nobody sees fire, Mallet. Sheesh. Elitist. Yes,
I think if anything needs to change in this palette, it's the green. Mallet is on fire today. I agree, Kat. But yeah, the green just kind of... It doesn't go with that much like red and orange, because with the red and the green, it just makes it Christmas colors.
Just that wrong color. That was supposed to be orange.
That was too bad nobody ever did a series on color theory. I can feel as I'm steaming out of his comments today.
He's Seattle Supersonic. I don't see Killer Mallet. I'm not racist. That's too bad, Tim. I'm white. I must be racist. Oh, nice. The last cult that offered Kool-Aid was fun too.
Man, the cult I'm in never offered Kool-Aid.
That's smart. I never joined a cult.
All we ever got were competitions. We had to give things to the cult.
Well, that's like
They were fun though,
normal.
so
That's normal. Giving stuff to the cult. Cults rarely give stuff back, though.
yeah, that cult never offered anything. But time, effort, and friendship. Yeah, I can agree with that.
That's how the best cults work. Says Marsupio. Bullet says,
Mm.
first mistake, cults aren't about friendship, cat.
I don't know. I made a lot of friends from it.
And I do presume we're talking about the cult of Raven.
Oh, yeah. No, I'm totally in another cult too.
Mallet says, hi, Bullet. I am
It's called
waiting.
the cult of Todd's.
I'm hoping to
Oh,
make
it's called
it.
Wee Todd. Yeah,
Nobody's cult. I knew there was a reason I never
that's
trust people.
Calamity Cat, right?
Oh, I got my second emoji slot today, said Mallet. Cool.
Rick, it's called an emote.
Emote.
It's short for emoticon. Icon.
A good primary cult will not allow secondary cult members.
Well, they will if you're infiltrating the other cult. The undercover cop.
Yeah, Rick, get it right, says Timothy. Yes, we are setting up a markers cult and buying large abandoned shopping malls and making Far Cry Found Compound. So a weekend at Bernie's and 1984. Then you aren't really in the cult. What am I? Bullet. I would like to stay locomotive fiend. I am a person, a one person cult, says Timothy. Well, it says, I crazy train one. I don't know. I wish I knew some artists, says Mallet.
Well, if unlike Marsupial, who just was super super vague when he asked me to make him a emote, if you are kind of specific about it, I could whip up something fast like that. Or if you'd like a different artist, you can pester them. I won't be hurt if you don't pick me. So with Twitch emotes, right? They have you want scalability because I think you have to upload multiple sizes, right? It's like
Yeah.
there's like a 150 by 150, and you have to go down and down and down.
I think it's 112, 56, and 28.
And Marsupial still wants an emote, very specifically a good one. Well, that doesn't help me. See, if you were trying to go train theme, like Mallet, what I would have done, I don't know what your first emote is. You said Crazy Train. I haven't seen it. I don't know exactly what it is. But what I would have done is I would have made like sideways emotes, like almost profile view of the train, and I would have started with an engine, and then add different carts each time you get a new emote. So like you have an engine and then obviously a caboose, so you have a completed train right there, and then you can add like a box car, passenger car, and stuff like that. Eventually, people could just make a train with your emotes in Twitch. That'd be a fun thing to do.
No more Sophia says a very good one. Exactly.
Do an example? Okay. I'm eating at the moment, but I'm gonna go put a alarm on my clock right now, so it'll remind me in a little bit. Which I need to do for something for Rick too. Clock. By paying, I mean I'll send Rick an invoice. Huh?
And he says, "Don't rush."
Could be in the style of your avatar, kinda. Okay. Yeah. What I would probably do is I would pencil it in on paper and scan it in, and then use the pen tools and stuff to make it more mechanical looking. When do I want to set this alarm? About Thursday for 2:30 in the morning, because I'll still be up. Yeah, you always got to start with the engine first. Kat says she's glad that Mallet didn't ask her because she would make him a super dorky train, maybe with polka dots. I mean, that could still be fun. I'm not going to hate on the idea or anything.
Certainly be a little bit of a crazy train.
Yeah, especially as an emote, right? Because you want your emotes to be a little dorky and fun at times. Very vivid and pop. Okay, that alarm is set.
There are a lot of people on Twitch who ask about emotes.
Yeah, a thing I used to do, I didn't do emotes yet, though one of the logos I made for somebody, he just resized and used as an emote. I would make Twitch overlays for people. I even had one guy who was getting a lot of them from me. Yeah, a lot of people on Twitch, they're looking for a lot of stuff that graphic design related.
Yeah, I need to get to
And
work.
please adhere to normal color theory. Of course I would.
Unlike me. I don't apply to no theory. That involves color. I just go with what I think usually looks good to my eyes.
Well, one thing I tend to do, you know swatches, right?
Yeah.
Rick, what a swatch is?
Yeah.
I'll make my own swatches or whatever. I don't like messing around with the program because I've had to reinstall the programs too many times, so I don't go back and remake my swatches there. I just have a reference sheet that I open up in another window that I can pull them from. But I have swatches for different character assets, background assets, and stuff because your screen can delude you.
Yeah.
Since not all digital screens are the same, and then printing's not going to be the same. So if I make sure that I have good swatches that are good on any screen or in printing, then I can just kind of use those as a rule of thumb.
Yeah.
And I'll check on multiple screens before I save one. So I'll bring it over to my phone and see how it looks on my phone as well. Sometimes I might do a print test.
Yeah. Most of these, I think, most of my characters that I came up with the color pattern, it probably would have been not on a computer at first. Except maybe newer characters. But, yeah, thing is, I should actually make something like that and save it in a certain area for all my characters, because I've made a couple swatches, things like this here, for like the Canadian Shield and a couple other characters, and then somehow I lost them.
Mallet thinks I'm hiding from something to be here. I don't. Is it because he keeps hearing my knife hit the ground? Because I'm eating a steak still. Or is this something to do with this swatch thing? Because I'm not selling Swiss watches.
Or it's just the fact that you're on my stream. Nobody'd ever nobody'd come here to look for you, so the last place they'd look for you.
I don't know, I'm here so often, I think this would probably be one of the first places people would look for me at this time.
Rick should have his characters as emotes. Yeah, I'd like to do that.
Oh, he says, no, you seem too intelligent to be here. Oh, well, I'll take that as a compliment. It's funny, too. It's actually because of all of you guys that I'm even here. Because I was in the Cult of Raven, and everybody was always talking about this Rick guy. I'm like, who is this Rick guy? So then somebody posted one of your streams once, and I came and checked it out.
Oh, that's good. Seems like you liked it. Also, John was supposed to do an aircraft carrier drawing for a commission, but it's been 2 weeks and nothing. He doesn't like my money anymore.
Man, that would be hard to do, too. Well, it depends how detailed you asked it for. But I'm assuming you'd want something really mechanical, so that would be difficult.
It's been 2 weeks. She's moved on since. Yeah, I gotta schedule another auction stream. Maybe I'll do one not this Sunday, but the Sunday after.
Oh, it's a front view for like a patch. Okay, okay. I was assuming you wanted like a full like side view of it or something. Almost like blueprint structure of the decks. I don't know. My mind just went there immediately. But front view for a patch is because I've had enough patches when I was a scout that it's like I know the type of imagery you would use on a patch in general. Yeah, that's not too hard. Same style as your icon. I'm gonna actually have to look at your icon because I haven't seen it in a while and it's really small on my screen. I'm assuming it's the same on Twitter.
Yeah, and on Twitch.
Because with it shrunk down for the chat, it's like just a small white circle with indiscernible black lines. So I'm gonna... Okay, yeah. I see this. Yeah, that's not hard. That's almost like, it's not full silhouette, but it's like a two-tone style. It's just one of the tones is the same as the background, so it kind of just fades into it, creating like a semi-line art effect. Post some when I draw 'em, I will.
Can we make him an S-Mart employee and turn his hand into a chainsaw so he can fight deadies? Oh yeah.
Deadites. It says Deadites. He's referring to Ash.
Yeah, I figured that.
Ashley.
Not the Evil Dead or whatever it is.
Yeah, it's from the Evil Dead. That's actually a great character progression when you look at it, because when you first meet him, he totally acts like an Ashley, so the name's fitting. But then after all the horrible events, he just drops it and he's Ash now. It's like, yeah, that fits. Because he's kind of a sissy at the beginning of the movie.
Yeah. Dylan's here and he says, Cat, I have some questions regarding Miss Maple.
So did Marsupial during our show. He had a lot of questions regarding Miss Maple. It was worrying me.
Would be much cool. We can change his name. That's not how it I know, John. Jeez, I'm having some fun. Jeez, people talk about me having fun and when I have fun. They complain. Not that Diller was the one saying about me having fun. No.
No, I'm pretty sure that was Evan.
Yeah. Timothy said it was a great impression of Diller. Almost thought Diller was talking. Does
Okay, I got that message.
I don't know who the Flamer is, Timothy. Is that a new character of yours, the Flamer?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That was funny. I was laughing so hard when Rick fell for your paint the nails redeem.
That's really why I chose
I think
blue.
I think I was there in the chat the first time somebody redeemed that too, and when I saw that, I'm like, okay, knowing Mallet, this is probably going to involve actual nails, like, and then it was, and I was laughing. That's a really good joke.
Yes, it is. That's why I chose blue, though. I was thinking it was going to be the nails on his hand, his fingernail. I wanted to see him paint his nails blue. This is the Flame. Timothy.
Yeah, I like Mallet's channel. He does a good job.
Yeah.
Because he's working with those machines. Sometimes, there's big gaps between actual things happening. But you get to see it go the whole time, and he's very active, always has his music playing, he keeps the chat engaged. It's a good time.
Yeah. Redeems have to be fun. And no, I would not name a character something as bad as the Flamer. Okay, so it was close. Flamer.
And from what I've seen, he's surrounding himself with some equally interesting people. Because he'll often raid other people in the, I guess you would call them like the maker or community or something like that, all the crafts and everything.
Yeah. Okay.
And he always links up to some interesting people.
I've got to remember to do that more often too when I'm on Twitch. I should make Rick first Xmas ornaments, says Mallet. That's my biggest thing at high noon. I don't remember to always raid. All parodies of Rick's people.
And I would expect a craftsman community to be very supportive, because craft work is an art, because an art's just a discipline. But compared to, say, more of the fine arts, as we call it, craftsmen are closer to engineers in a way. They're very down-to-earth people. And this usually makes them like very nice and supportive of people who are actually working on their craft and getting better at it. And other people who are down-to-earth and friendly as well. I always love craftsmen.
Yes, they're very crafty. In a good way. Yeah, you need to go out and interact with people well before you raid them.
Yes, you do. I mean, technically it's not necessary because you could raid anyone, but if you're trying to actually basically sow a field and reap it, what you want to do is you want to build a relationship with other people in a sense, right?
Yeah.
They get to know you, and then when they see you raid them, they kind of trust your community who's coming over.
Yeah.
And they also recognize, like, hey, I know you, and you start to get returns on that investment once they get interested in you.
Yeah. Well, usually if I'm on, or if he's on, I've been raiding the lettuce guy.
Yeah, and don't go in and say, hey, I'm streaming.
No, usually I've ended my stream at that point, so.
Oh, there was, in one of the other communities I'm in, used to be, like, really into Screw Attack when Screw Attack was a thing. A big gaming community. And they don't exist anymore. One of the guys that we knew from the conventions, he would pop into this Discord, and basically the only time he would interact with anybody was to drop his stream. And we knew this guy personally, like we would meet him and stuff, but he never interacted with anybody outside of being in person. He was just like, hey, I'm streaming, hey, I'm streaming. And there was a channel for you to promote your streams and stuff. Mostly just creative things. Like if somebody was making an edited video commentary or something.
Yeah.
But one time, we basically had to call him out because he was only dropping his stream link in, and he wasn't acting like he was part of the community.
Yeah.
Timothy says, Screw Attack, that sounds horrific. It's an item or a move from Metroid. Samus jumps and turns into a ball in the air and kind of like razor blades through things. You can also get it as an item in Super Smash Brothers. Though it does sound horrific. They used to have these joking shirts that would say screwattack.com, not a porn website. Because if a parent didn't know about Metroid and they saw Screw Attack, that's like the first thing that their mind would go to.
Yeah.
I actually still have some of their shirts. That was a
Well,
really good big community too.
well, they just sort of changed their name, didn't they? Screw Attack, aren't they?
Well, Screw Attack as an entity is basically disbanded. Uh, Death Battle is all that remains, so they just changed the name of the channel to Death Battle.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking of. Death Battle. I forget what else they did besides Death Battle.
They did a lot of things. I'm just trying to read Mallet's comment at the moment. He says, yeah, with Boyd's custom fab, I have lots of scrap he can use for turning his stuff. So he's sending him some. Okay, cool. Yeah, you definitely need to just, I wouldn't even call it charity work or, giving things, but it's that kind of like back scratching, right? Everybody scratches each other's back.
Yeah,
It's good and it's healthy. But they had a lot of shows. They had a podcast called Side Scrollers, which is what it kind of started as way back in the day. They did top tens, usually about video games before top tens were really even a super big thing. They had a lot of partners too. A lot of people grew off of their site.
yeah,
Like the Game Theorists got a lot of popularity from being on ScrewAttack.com, and Brittle Floss was a member of Screw Attack for a little bit. Angry Video Game Nerd is one of the biggest things to be partnered with Screw Attack. JonTron got big from posting in the community as well. It was a very active way to grow, and the site was great. I miss the website. I miss the website a lot. And there's kind of a remnant of it too, called Game Attack.
yeah.
Oh, Keith Apicary too. I almost forgot about that. Keith, played by Nathan Barnett, which is what Bullet just shared. Yeah,
Yeah. The one guy.
he's a cool guy. I've met him several times.
The one guy from Death Battle. I'm not sure whether it was the same guy back then, but he sounds like a guy from a show that was on one of the channels here called City TV, and he did a character named Ed the Sock.
Oh well, I can guarantee you it's not him.
Okay.
But I know both of the people who do the voices in Death Battle, which are Chad James and Ben Singer. I believe they moved down to Austin after the merger because Screw Attack just went down to Rooster Teeth.
Yeah.
But they actually lived up here. They're from the DFW area, North Dallas, the Richardson Louisville area.
Yeah. Well, I don't know
I've actually
whether
met and hung out with these guys several times.
I don't know whether it got was piped in from anywhere. I don't think so. So I'm just going by the little bit that I know. I didn't watch it a lot or at all. I just know very a crude.
Well, another reason I can guarantee you is they're not old enough to have been at the sock.
Oh, you know who Ed the Sock is then?
It started in like '87.
Yeah.
These people would have been little kids at that time because they're older than me, but they're barely. They're millennials. They're probably closer to Dillard's age.
Yeah. Yeah, I didn't think it was. A buddy of mine thought it was Ed the same voice actor as Ed the Sock. And although the voices sound very similar, I didn't think it was.
Um, the ScrewTac Gaming Convention for 2013. Keith Apicary was showing up for a late night appearance, and he went up onto like one of the they're not banisters, but the banisters were linked to is kind of like almost this pillar on the wall that didn't need to be there for support. It was just kind of the design of the hotel and for show ledge of it, and did like a backflip off of it because he was wrestling with people and ended up like spraining his leg. But then he went to the hospital and came right back as soon as he was checked out, and still did his panel and everything, and was still wrestling with people with a sprained leg. It was great.
Well, Timmy at the asshole. How old am I? Okay, I'm gonna let you guess. How old do you think I am, Timothy? Although you've gotten probably a bunch of clues, so that might help you get closer. Late 30s, early 40s. Most likely late 30s range. Well, Timothy, you're off probably by 10 years. I am 47 years old. He's like, you're older than I.
I was actually up on stage once at one of the conventions.
By
that
like,
was fun.
He says like by 6. So that means you're 41? Ah, crap. But don't feel bad, Timothy. Most people would put me in that range. Yeah, unfortunately I am.
I'm sure you get this a lot where people tell you to act your age and not your shoe size.
Not really.
Oh, well, I'm going to start telling that to you.
I know, just because you can, right? This would be that true. Actually, no, I don't act 10, so I don't think so. 10 or 11. Make, well, 9, 10, or 11, depending on make.
I've got big feet for my size. Because I wear just about usually about 11.5 or 12, depending on make. 45.5 European size. And like a bunch of my friends that are taller than me, they hear that I have big feet, so they always try passing me down shoes. But they're always like 9s and 10s, so like I can't wear these. They're too tight.
40 the new 20, Rick? I hope so.
Good for me. No, it's not good for me. It's more expensive to have big feet. It's harder to find shoes. They charge more. I'm glad it's only like a 12. I couldn't imagine people who have like size 13 through 16. Like, whew. It's also like you always had to supply my own roller skates or blades or whatever when I went skating with people because they just wouldn't have my size. And thankfully most bowling places have 12, but I imagine if I was a size higher. And they never like round one. They have like these shoe dispensers, so you put in your ticket or whatever, and it shoots the shoe out. I can't do that. I have to go to the counter because they just don't have one for size 12.
Timothy say some people say he looks 20. Yeah, well, I've gotten that to late 20s before, early 30s. But there's the real question: what would if Timothy didn't have the clues that he did? What would have he guessed? Or did he take any of the clues into consideration?
Like, even think about it. I actually kind of like being on the smaller end. You know how easy it is to find clothes for somebody my size?
Probably real easy. Go to
Oh,
the
yeah,
kid,
I'm never without.
go to the kids section, right?
Sometimes, yeah, actually, because the kids section seems to be getting bigger and bigger. I don't normally shop in the kids section, but if there was something cool in like a kids extra large, boy, I'm going to pick that thing up. I don't even care.
And he says, no, I don't pay attention to that. Pay attention to what? The clues?
The clues.
Yes, the clues. Well, why wouldn't you pay attention to clues?
And he's trying to tell you to pay attention. It's kind of hypocritical. Does that mean you were really bad at Blue's Clues or whatever? Like, they kind of point them out for you.
Yeah, I didn't even watch Blue's Clues. It wasn't even on when I was a kid.
I'm trying to remember when that came out. That might have actually would have technically not been a kid when that started, depending on like what your definition of kid is. Maybe it might have been close to. If I was still 10, I would consider that a kid.
Yeah.
But when you're home during the summertime, you just kind of watch whatever's on TV.
Yeah, I can see
All these
that.
kid shows.
What did I watch as a kid when home? I think I was out a lot.
That's assuming my mom didn't throw us outside. That happened a lot. that was like the most boring block. Because if my mom did throw us out, which she did, she would lock the door behind us too, and we'd just be in the front yard or wandering around town for most of the summer. It would usually be around 10 o'clock, so we were up early. We still saw some of the stuff that was on TV. But the problem is, like, older kid programming didn't start until around noon. So what we'd be watching on TV would be basically whatever Nick Jr. or whatever. That's all that's on. And then before the good stuff comes on, it's like, outside. I don't want to deal with you for the rest of the day.
Lovely.
Yeah. And we'd have to sneak to play video games too. Because my mom had like this weird rule that we weren't allowed to play video games before noon. Which I kind of get. But it was basically this rule of you're not allowed to play video games because you were going to kick us out. You never thought about sneaking back in? I did a few times. Eventually I figured out, because we didn't have a key. We were locked out. And I started putting locks on the windows too. I figured out how the lock on the back door worked because it didn't have the cover on it. It was like one of those sliding doors. And normally there's like a little round cover on the back end of the lock. Right? So I would take like a screwdriver that we left in the backyard and stick it in there and kind of like wedge the lock to flip. Because it's just like, it's one of those hook locks. It's like a toggle, you know, up and down. And I would just wedge the hook so it would flip and then I'd get back inside. No pop music before noon. Ooh. That sounds bad too. Depending on your parents' definition of pop music. And depending on the time, that I mean, the Beatles could be considered pop music.
Oh, I would have been able to listen to the Beatles. My mom loved the Beatles when I was a kid. But with sneaking back in, didn't your mom ever find you, or would?
Oh yeah.
No, did
We
she
get in
find
trouble
you?
too.
Did she find you quickly or easily?
No, because she would get high and pass out. And she liked specifically to pass out on the couch. Mostly because it's like, she likes her soap operas, right? And this is the main reason she'd kick us out before noon. Because she would have back-to-back, it was back before these were in the same time slot, but she would watch like Days of Our Lives and then General Hospital, depending on, it could have been the other way around, I don't remember what the order was back then, but one would finish and the other would start on the other channel.
I think it was Days of Our Lives in General Hospital. My mom watched. Well, depends on where you are for time of day and all that. Well, I know my mom. She didn't watch Days of.
Fairly regular across the country and probably with you guys too. I think they tried to keep it consistent.
Yeah, I know my mom watched General Hospital. She didn't watch Days of Her Lives, but she watched Another World and All My Children. And I think General Hospital was the last one of the three.
Yeah.
Come on.
So that's why she would kick us out before those started. And then she would just pass out for basically the rest of the day. She wouldn't do any cleaning or anything like that. And made sure she was handicapped. She had some disabilities. But otherwise, she was a mostly functional stay-at-home mom. That would kick the kids out instead of watching them. And we actually did that a few times, Timothy. The problem was I have two younger brothers, right? So even if we find a closet to hide in, they are younger by a year and 2 years and 3 years respectively. So they don't want to be in a closet by themselves, right? I'm 9 when when she starts doing this. So that means one is 7 and one is 6, and they don't want to be they're just afraid. Right. Monsters are in the closet. So we would go into one of the closets specifically, because the hall closet, dumbest place we could have hid. was right next to the living room, but it was a big space, and there were boxes in there that we could use like chairs, and we would even kind of do like role playing and stuff in there, kind of like similar to what we're going to be doing tabletop wise. We were functionally playing like a tabletop game with rules and everything, just more similar to what we were doing with the Theater of the Mind. We didn't have any dice or pen and paper or anything. I would just be coming up with scenarios, and my brothers would be doing things, and it's fine as long as we're quiet. But once you start laughing too much because of the funny things that you're doing, or at least little kids think are funnier than it actually is, it wakes up my mom, and then we all get in trouble. Even got to the point that when she stopped kicking us out, we're older, and she physically can't do this anymore. She could not kick us out of the house. I think like when I was a teenager and everything. We would be quiet, and she was just so used to yelling at us for making any sound whatsoever. In her sleep, you would hear her yelling at us.
Shit.
We wouldn't be making any noise, and you just hear her going like, "Cut it out! Settle down!" And we'd look over, and she'd be snoring and fast asleep. So what we mostly did is, because we got used to walking around town. You know, after a while, it stopped bothering us. But what did bother me was the fights that my parents would get in afterwards because she locked us out. Like this made my dad really mad anytime he found out that it happened. So we started using the whole little backdoor thing to basically sneak in right before my dad got home, to try to make it look like we had been there. Sometimes early enough that I started cooking dinner. Because I've been cooking since I've been about 10 years old. Believe it or not, he couldn't tell the difference at first. Because my mom burnt everything.
Are you saying you burnt
the
everything?
The thing that gave it away was when the food... at first, when, I didn't know how to cook yet. What gave it away was when the food started getting better. It's like, there's no way your mother cooked this. She's one of those people that'll be like, she'll call it blackened. But I'm like, that's not what blackened means. That's like a black pepper rub. You're just burning it.
Yeah. I was a bit smart like that when I was a kid, too.
Yo.
Hey, Dylan's back.
What up, sucker?
Hey, John.
Hey, Rick.
How
What
are you?
happened?
Nothing?
Oh, I was just regaling Rick in the chat childhood experiences of being locked outside during the summers.
Metal.
Mhm.
Rick's talking. Let him talk.
Yeah. I was just going to say,
He was saying how smart he was as a kid.
yeah, I forget how old I was. My mom had bought a freezer, and she didn't like me getting into it to get food or whatever for whatever reason. Because it was stuff for later on. There was stuff in the fridge for me to eat and all that. But I was smart enough, I took a knife and I opened it. I unlocked it. I picked the lock. When I was like I said, I don't know how old. Under 16, so 15, 16, something like that.
You're a bad boy.
So it came to a point where my mom just gave up, forgot, said, I'm not watching this anymore. It's useless.
That's why my mom stopped beating me. It wasn't affecting me anymore.
How come she didn't train so that she could beat you more efficiently and harder?
Oh, because she's a wimp.
What a wimp. She lost that eye of the tiger is what happened.
And her big toe.
She used to be formidable. She just gave up. Not unlike Rocky 3.
In her defense, she's had cancer, so...
Big toe cancer?
No, but I do believe everything happened because of the cancer, and the fact that she was already kind of crippled-ish. Walk around, but it was a bit lame.
No pun intended, or pun intended?
Both. Either. But what was it again? Oh, so it cut off the circulation, and she did develop gangrene in her foot at that time, and they had to take the toes, so she didn't have to take the rest of the foot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Timothy says, "You broke her, Rick. Shame on you."
Broke who? What?
My mom, with her giving up for locking the freezer.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that's terrible.
I didn't think so at the time.
So what was so interesting in that freezer that you just had to get in there?
I don't know. I forget. It was like 20 years, 30 years ago. Yeah.
Ice cream?
Probably ice cream. All kids love ice
It
cream.
was probably Staples. It was probably like Rick's mom wasn't even getting him a full dinner. He was like going in there to make himself like meatloaf and stuff.
I don't know, man. Looking at Rick, I have a hard time believing his mom never gave him a full dinner.
Well, that's what happens when you turn into an adult. Like all of a sudden, you can do whatever you want. You gorge.
Oh, I gorged as a kid too.
Yeah, he just had a faster metabolism back then.
I was a big eater. I'm actually less of a big eater now. But unfortunately, it all caught up with me.
As it does.
So what are we talking about now?
Oh, I'm just looking at this page at the moment.
Utterness.
Yeah.
What page are you looking at? John's page?
Yeah. What's with the gradient? Were you highlighting like warm spots first, or were you gonna put effects at, or?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's not too big of a deal, but I just wanted to keep it in my... It's on a separate layer, so I can keep it in mind.
Oh,
where the,
I would totally do the same thing.
Stuff's going to be. So that when I start to shadow the face, I know where the colors are going to be coming from.
Yeah. Usually only if it's like a complicated lighting, which you probably would have on a pier or whatever effect you're doing.
Yeah, because there's going to be like destructive fire going on, but also at the same time, blue lightning and blue power and electricity.
Mm-hmm.
So it's going to be a couple of different light sources.
If there's like a singular light source, I don't bother with stuff like that because it's like you know where it's coming from.
Yeah. So how was the show? I missed the majority of your show, Rick. How was it?
Good, I'd say.
Yeah, we had some fun.
Yeah, a little bit of fun.
Look at the chat. Oh, Timothy's like, oh snap, just burned Rick.
Who burned Rick?
Saying you burned me with your one comment there. Forget exactly.
Comment?
Talking to Dillard. Could have been talking to me when I said I have a hard time believing that your mom never fed you full meals.
Oh, yeah.
Your mom says about 10.
Yeah, my mom would. She was really good about making food. That's one thing I really do appreciate about her.
Mm-hmm.
And I also get defensive when the wife and the sister-in-law talk about my mom's cooking. It's like, yeah, but this is the thing.
Mm-hmm.
She actually does cook. It's not like she makes one meal a day. She cooked every single meal every day. It may not be the best tasting thing, but she cooked 3 times a day. Something to eat if we were hungry. Say what?
I was gonna say something about what my mom said. Oh no, I was just gonna say that my mom must be really behind lagging to answer that part. Back when we talked about that like 5 minutes ago. One more. That computer lags a lot anyways. So.
The computer's lagging now?
Oh no, not mine. The one in the living room that my mom chats on.
Oh.
See, that one, you probably wouldn't even have to tell us. I would have just expected that it lagged.
Yeah. Because it's even worse than my laptop, so.
Because if it wasn't, why wouldn't you have just been using that one the whole time, right?
Yeah.
Use deductive reasoning for that.
Turducken reasoning.
Well, could have been, especially at first. I didn't have a webcam on for that computer till I got the webcam I have now. I was using the webcam on the laptop for the first, I don't know, year of doing stuff.
It's an interesting pose for that hand. And I don't mean that in a bad way. It almost looks like she's grasping at the air. Which could be
it came out a little not exactly how I want, because I want it to be tilted at her face.
Mm-hmm.
Almost like a little bit like what's going on, but also blocking some wind.
Yeah.
But I'll fix that when I color it.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, I remember what I was saying. It's like, my mom wasn't good about cooking all the time. I did appreciate when she did cook something. Though I do make fun of her cooking a lot.
And one thing that my mom was never good at was any sort of like rice dish.
Mm-hmm.
She was notorious. She was not very good at multitasking.
You leave the rice in too long?
It was always, you get those really, really hard rocks that are burnt the side, the rice is on the corners, they burn.
Yeah.
Mixed in with the rest. It was never like she just left it so that you can kind of take from the middle and leave the burnt stuff on. She always mixed it up before she served it. So everybody got a little bit of the broken tooth going on.
Or my mom would do that with pasta sometimes, because you know how sometimes if you don't wait for it to already come to a high boil, and then you put too much pasta in, you'll get like clumps of them.
Mm-hmm.
And she wouldn't take the clumps out beforehand. She would put it into the thing, what's it, colander, while she's straining it, and would try to like peel them apart to try to save it. But those noodles, they're going to be kind of plasticky. They didn't cook properly from clumping together. And like, just scrap them. We always have leftovers anyway. You don't need to be saving these noodles.
Well, yeah.
Yeah. And the one thing she knew how to do right was sauces. She could season sauces and mix them together and get like the right proportions of things, especially marinara sauce. So it was fine anytime we had spaghetti, except for the clumpy noodles.
Timothy says, made a game out of eating rice. Love. And then he says, I always thought eating pasta the next day was bad when noodles get dry and brittle.
How do you store your noodles if they're getting dry and brittle? I've never had that problem.
Well, I think he means dried out in the fridge or whatever, you know. Well, you put it, whatever, in the fridge and somehow it dries out, or they leave it out on the stove or whatever.
Oh, yeah, I guess if you leave it on the plate or something like that, if you put it straight in the fridge, or leave it in the pot you boiled it in. Usually we put them in like Ziploc containers or Tupperware or even just plastic wrap. We'll keep it just airtight. It's fine.
He says they were in the fridge, and yes.
If you really don't want them to dry out, what I would do is if we have like those gallon size baggies, when you go to reheat it, all you do is you put hot water in the bag and shake it up so that the noodles aren't cold anymore, and then just pour the water back out. And the noodles were like you ate them yesterday. Just make sure you keep your sauce separately. That's probably your problem. A lot of people mix the noodles and sauce together. That'll definitely dry your noodles out.
What is this, a cooking show, Rick? What are you doing?
You want to do a cooking show, Rick? We could do that sometime.
Yeah, well, I need to be able to move my entire thing in the kitchen. Cooking with Rick and Metal.
The pie pipe
Yeah,
of Hamilton.
Hey, I could stick with the Pied Piper. I got the snacks on there, right? So. Timothy says, when I normally nuke them in the microwave, I usually put a little water in the bowl.
Yeah. I do that when I nuke most things. Is just add a little water so the steam loosens things back up. Or with spaghetti specifically, because, you know, I'm a disgusting person with bad eating habits. I'll put a little bit of margarine in there and mix that into the sauce. And the vegetable oil will loosen everything up.
What do you? Oh, I'm not actually even. I wasn't following. I'm sorry. What are you talking about? Heating up again?
Spaghetti.
Oh, don't you always? Aren't you supposed to use butter with spaghetti when you heat it up?
I don't know if other people did. I always did.
Yeah, add more spaghetti and add more cheese. It makes it even better.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sorry, I mean butter and cheese.
Rick does a cooking show. The next thing you know, that the house is, I think he meant on fire, no fire. He's no fire.
Yeah, he says on afterwards. Yeah, Rick's gonna set his apartment on fire.
No, I'm not that bad of a cook.
No, but you'll be too busy looking at the chat,
Oh
not
yeah.
paying attention to it.
Okay, yeah.
What if he
Maybe.
sets himself on fire?
That would be funny and horrible at the same time.
It'd be like watching Tim the Toolman Taylor almost.
Yeah.
Rick the Toolman Taylor? Or Rick the Toolman Piper? Something like that.
No, you don't change the name. I'm just saying, I'm making a comparison.
Would that make me Al?
Yes. Like Rick would be like, I think I want to do this, and you go, I don't think so, Rick.
I don't know, Rick. That doesn't seem like a good idea.
And Rick's like, you get the butter and then thing.
We make a quick grilled cheese. We put the cheese between two pieces of bread and then turn the toaster sideways and put them both in there.
Yes, and let's amp the toaster up to like 5 billion. More power!
I'd watch that show.
Later on the news, there was a inexplicable kitchen fire and it burnt down an entire apartment complex in Hamilton, Ontario earlier today.
You get wise advice from his neighbor Diller. You never really see his face.
He's actually a pretty good cook.
That proves it. Rick, you're a terrible cook.
You're calling my mom a terrible cook?
What? How did you make that leap?
Well, she's calling me a good cook, so if she's calling me a good cook,
I'm not saying that she's a terrible cook. I'm just saying she's a liar.
And also, if anybody was Wilson, it would be Mallet.
Oh, yeah. Of course you would say you're a good cook, Rick. She's your mom.
she didn't have to come in just to say it.
Are you going to hit her? What are you talking about?
No, she's already left. Rick is.
Or else you would have? Or what are you trying to say?
I don't know. Oh, what I'm saying is it's 11:59.
Mm-hmm. And if Dillard was anybody, he'd be Heidi, because everybody knows he's the good looks of this show.
Sorry, what are you saying?
He called you a girl.
I said if you were anybody from Home Improvement, you would be Heidi, because everybody knows you're the good looks of this show.
Oh. No, I'd be Tim's neighbor, the one that outdoes him in Christmas decorations.
So you want to shield there, promote, John?
Yeah. Can I?
Yeah.
Let me know when I can do that.
Now?
Now,
All right. If I were you guys, I would go and get this book. I'm working on a book called The Buckler. It's going to be a fantastic tale of love and loss. And if you don't get this book, you're probably going to miss out on the only good thing to ever come out of this community. So I would encourage you to not do that. Don't make it so that you wasted your time. Back this book.
And metal.
yes, I don't know if you've heard of it, but I'd like you to go and back this book called The Buckler. It seems really, really good. You can find it on Indiegogo right now at the sign-up page, and it'll be live on Friday.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I want to thank John, and Metal for coming on, being on the panel. And I want to thank everybody in the chat for being here. And go sign, and as I said, go sign up for the Buckler, and also be here Saturday night or Saturday afternoon, for thing, and be the Jettlers at 6 p.m. Pacific Standard Time on Friday for the launching of the Buckler. You're having a launch party, right? Yeah, you are. Okay, so we'll catch y'all later. Bye for now. God bless.